Hi, I'm Catherine Llewellyn, the host of the podcast. You can find out all about Truth and Transcendence on truthandtranscendence.com. And you can find out all about me on beingspace.world, where you will find my online coaching offering, as well as my UK-based workshops. The Freedom of Spirit workshop for liberation and empowerment, the Pellower Radical Shift in Consciousness workshop for spiritual expansion, and transformational coaching for exploring the mind-body-spirit connection on the expansive path. You can also support the podcast by actually making a donation. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Truth and Transcendence. You can find all our episodes on truthandtranscendence.com. Last Friday, I had an interview with a wonderful lady called Alexandra Beller. Alexandra is a choreographer, a director, and an educator who blends somatics, inquiry, and creative freedom. She's a former member of the Bill T. Jones Arnie Zane Dance Company. She leads Alexandra Beller Dances and has created 40-plus international works. She has taught at many prestigious universities and is core faculty at the Laban Institute. She's the author of The Embodied Conductor, 2025, and currently working on her book, The Anatomy of Art, coming out in 2026. And Alexandra supports artists in deepening process and possibility through her work. You can find Alexandra at alexandrabellerdances.org. So today we have an extra special episode, which is a meditation experience, which Alexandra has kindly gifted to the show. So in a moment, I will stop talking and Alexandra's meditation will begin. So for this, clearly, you need to be in absolutely the right physical space for it. So please make sure you are in a space where you can move easily, where you can lie down comfortably, where you can sit comfortably, and where you have everything you need for regulating your temperature. Layers to put on to take off, maybe a throw, whatever you need for your comfort, whether that's slippers, cushions, a fan, open window, whatever it might be, and some water. While this meditation is occurring, if at any point anything feels at all uncomfortable, please pause, back off, take a breath, and then resume when ready. Enjoy.
Hello. So you are going to get yourself down on the floor in constructive rest. So back body in the floor, feet in the floor, and knees pointed to the sky. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just feel the back body sinking and spreading in the floor. And feel the whole sole of each foot in the floor. And feeling the skull in the floor. I'd like you to start with the feet, noticing how the feet are shaped on the floor, how the weight is dispersed on each foot, if there's any difference between the right and left side. Remembering that all of these observations that we're making are not about value, not about judgment, but just about noticing. We're not trying to change anything, but things may change. So noticing the bones of the feet, noticing the skeleton of the feet, noticing the weight, maybe directionality of the feet, and that will give you some sense of the ankle. Noticing how the foot and the ankle have a relationship, and how the ankle on the bottom of the lower leg has a relationship. See if you can feel if there's any spiral in the lower leg, any torque, any pull. What's the sensation of the lower leg? And how does the lower leg have a relationship with the underside of the knee? See if you can feel the back of the knee, the way that your lower leg bones fit into the knee. And then see if you can notice the top half of the knee where the femur, the thigh bone, also fits in. Feeling the downward slope of the femur, and see if the right and left side feel similar, different. You are exerting a little bit of muscular effort to keep your knees pointed to the ceiling. If you'd like to release that muscular effort, you can let the knees knock in towards each other and rest against each other. If you've chosen to do that, that will change the sensation of how the top of the femur, the thigh bone, fits into the acetabulum, the hip socket. Either way, I'm going to invite you to notice that hip socket. As you're noticing the hip sockets, let the pelvis spread and widen. And let's notice the whole bowl of the pelvis, as if you had a big ceramic bowl with high sides, and the content of the bowl is facing your head. So the bottom of the bowl is facing your feet. It's a bowl on its side. And see if you can imagine all the sides of that bowl. In front of it would be the pubic bone, back of it the sacrum, the two sides, your outside of hip bones, your greater trochanters. And see if you can imagine the liquid inside that bowl, even though it's tipped on its side, that bowl has content. Content is your reproductive system and the bottom of your digestive system. And starting to notice the spine. Spine is part of this bowl. It's the back, coccyx, the tailbone. And then we can start to notice the lumbar spine, the lower back, as it bridges probably slightly out of the floor. Starting to notice the thoracic spine as it deepens into the floor. And as we're noticing the thoracic spine, let's start to notice the width of the ribs, particularly the back ribs right now. If we keep traveling up the spine, we'll start to notice the cervical spine also bridging out of the floor and coming back down toward the floor at the atlas, very top of the spine. And see if we can notice how the atlas and the bottom of the skull, the occiput, form a relationship. Let's go back down a little bit into the upper thoracic spine and notice how the scapula, the shoulder blades, and the clavicle, the collarbones, form their own sort of bowl, the shoulder girdle. Two joints of the shoulders, similar to the hip sockets, form a space to create a relationship with the upper arm, elbow, lower arm, wrists, hands, and fingers. Inside the head, let's begin to notice the hollows of the head, the eye sockets, the ear canals, the nostril through the sinus, which becomes the throat, the roof of the mouth, base of the tongue, and then noticing how the throat becomes a pipe, bifurcates and becomes both digestive and respiratory. Let's see if we can follow the respiratory pipes as they become the lungs. As we're noticing the inner body, the lungs, taking in the room, offering yourself back out into the room, we might notice the profound shift of the whole skeleton on an inhale and on an exhale. So we're finding a connection between the inner and outer body, the viscera and the skeleton, Nice to remember here sometimes that on the lemniscate of inner and outer, breathing is a perfect microcosm as we take in the room through an inhale. The body expands out into the room. As we put ourselves out into the room through exhale, we actually retreat from the room. The belly gets smaller. So as we take in, we move out. As we put out, we pull in. Constant exertion and recuperation cycle. And a perfect example of the relationship between inner and outer and the interdependence between them. So just following the breath, not only the sensation of the breath, but especially how the breath changes the skeleton and then changes it back again. And just stay here for about a minute, just tracking the changes in the skeleton on both the inhale and the exhale. See if we can keep tracking, observing, witnessing more and more sensations in the body. Sometimes pain can be one of those sensations. Let's continue to resist judgment, resist valuing the sensations, and just allow ourselves to be inside the body, witnessing, observing, and sensing, rather than diagnosing, analyzing, or judging. And when you're ready, you can begin to open yourself up to the instinct of what is next. It may be movement. It may be opening the eyes. Movement might be taking a rock on the soles of the feet, rocking the head from side to side, moving an arm. See if you can just take the time it takes to feel what your particular body is asking for first out of this relative stillness. And once you've done that thing, continue to stay tuned into what your body wants next. And just one action at a time, nice and slow, trying to again resist the call towards future, towards action, but just letting yourself stay really present in following the intuition, the invitations of your body right now. And just one at a time, you're going to add movement or vision into your ability, into your present moment, until eventually you come back into eyes open, and eventually coming into a seated position. Whatever position you take, let's just take some time to really be there. Feeling the profound shift of the body into vertical space, new relationship with gravity, new relationship with balance, symmetry, stability. And then on your own, I'm going to let you go, but on your own, you're going to take the same process to eventually get back into your day or your evening, to get back up to vertical, to go back into your own process. But I'm going to say goodbye, and you take the time that it needs to get back into your own process. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that beautiful meditation. Please drink some water and do whatever else that your body is telling you that you need. You may need to eat something, you may need to rest, you may need to go out and have a walk, you may need a bath or a shower. Whatever it is that you need, please give yourself whatever that may be. And just notice how your sleep is tonight. Notice whether you have dreams, and notice how you are in the morning, because that's all very useful information about the body and the energy and about how we are. So thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. It really helps if you give a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, a review, and share with your friends. If you're looking for transformational coaching or an intensive transformational weekend workshop experience, I can help with that. You can actually help the show by making a donation. Until next time, take care.